So recently I discovered a futures trading strategy on the 5-minute chart that was shared by another YouTuber, and usually I am very skeptical about these strategies because most of these guys make these strategy videos just for the views, and so people sign up to trading platforms through their affiliate links, and that's how they will make money off of you. Also, when I backtest most of these strategies, which basically means to see if they have worked out in the past, most of them have failed to produce consistent results. But a couple of days ago, I actually stumbled upon a very interesting yet simple strategy, and what's important is that when I actually backtest this strategy and then actually traded it with real money, I was able to win 7 out of 10 trades, and if you're new to trading, that's actually quite huge. And this by no means means that if you try this strategy, you will be as successful. So only use gamble money for this, don't use money you are afraid to lose. So yeah, that's sort of a disclaimer that I have to put out there. But I find it really interesting that me, as almost a complete beginner when it comes to futures trading, I was able to make such successful trades following a very simple strategy. So as I mentioned before, to actually execute this strategy, you will need to trade on the 5-minute chart, as well as only trade like top 3 coins. I have only used this strategy personally for Bitcoin and Ethereum, because the more volatile asset is, the harder it will be for this strategy to be profitable. But anyways, for the sake of this video, I will be showing all examples with Ethereum, because that's what I have been most profitable with myself. So go ahead and open up tradingview.com. And then what you will need to do is go ahead and find Ethereum and BUSD pair. I trade on Binance, so that's the pair I am looking at. When that is done, you will need to set up a couple of indicators. So let's go ahead and click on indicators right over here and type in EMA. Click it 2 times so you have 2 EMAs on your screen. Click on the first one right over here. Inputs, length, you want to set it at 50. Style, make it whatever color you like, but make the line a little bit fatter so it's easier to see. Confirm that, and then for the other EMA, click settings again, and for this one let's type 200. Color stays the same, just make the line a little bit fatter. Once you have done that, you'll have 2 lines right over here, but that's not it. Go back to indicators, type in MACD, moving average convergence divergence. Enable that. Then what you will need to do is go here, settings, disable MACD, disable signal, click OK. You want it to look relatively similar to this, only the histogram, okay? So when that's done, we can look at the whole strategy. It's really simple, and firstly what we want to look for is where these 2 lines crosses and changes directions, okay? So for example, here's a good example right over here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So when the 2 lines actually cross on the chart, that's when you personally start looking for good entries. So how do you actually find that? That's where MACD comes into play. And what we're looking for are these peaks right here. For example, this, and peaks like these. Basically everything that is kind of out of trend when it comes to the histogram. So for example, if we were to enter a short trade right over here, just where the EMA lines first cross, and then we went ahead and actually opened a short trade, we could have easily made like 4% gains, and that is without leverage. If you use 50x leverage, what I suggest you use with this strategy, since the movements tend to be so small, 50 times 4%, that's like 200% gains just from one trade. Usually these trades won't happen that often, so you wouldn't actually set your take profits at 4%, more like 0.5%, to kind of manage your risk, because with leverage you can easily get wiped out, so be cautious. Oh, and another thing, if the trend is moving downwards, we only want to open short positions, since that's where the trend is moving. But anyways, the next example right over here, there's another peak in the histogram right here, and if we were to open short position just after these peaks right here, we could have easily secured our 0.5%, and with leverage that is healthy profit. Let's take a look at some more examples. Right here it looks like the trend actually reversed, so if we were to follow the strategy and guide ourselves by these peaks and open a long position right here when the peak happened, we could have easily made our 0.5% times leverage. Another example right here, there is really good short opportunity, so if we were to guide ourselves again by the histogram, look for these peaks that are out of trend and open a trade right after they happen, we can easily secure our 0.5%. And obviously, if you're not afraid of risk, you can easily set your take profits at higher percentages. But for me, this is what has been working the best. 0.5%, I take profit, easy peasy, just guiding myself by these histograms. But you can't do this infinitely. The longer these two lines haven't crossed, the less and less this strategy tends to work. So personally, I would usually make like 5 to 7 trades and then wait for another crossing to happen. So let's fast forward a little bit, and as you can see, another crossing happened right over here. So that's where we start looking for good entries based on the histogram. So again, for example, if we guided ourselves by this histogram and entered right after the peak that happened right here and opened a short position, again we can easily secure our 0.5%. Let's go ahead and continue with some more examples. There is a longing opportunity right over here because this peak is way out of the histogram trend. So if we were to open a position right here, you could have easily secured your 0.5% in this case. But bear in mind, guys, that not always the strategy will work, because if we take a look at this, if you were to open a long position right over here, you wouldn't secure your 0.5% gains, and probably and most likely you would have hit your stop loss, which you also need to set. It's really important that you set your stop losses, because if you don't, one swinging chart can wipe out your entire portfolio. And basically following these two indicators, I was easily able to win like 7 out of 10 trades successfully. So take a look at this, a line crossing is happening in real time right here. So what I would do now is watch the charts like a hawk and wait for a good opportunity to arise. This might look like a good opportunity if you're just starting out, but don't be fooled. This histogram is not out of trend enough to make me convinced that this will go the other way. So I personally wait for a bigger peak to occur, then enter my trade. And guys, there's no need to rush this. Please don't rush into trades, because there are hundreds of different trade opportunities every single day, and you don't need to enter every single one of them. You only need to win like 10 trades per day to make significant profits with this strategy. So wait for really good opportunities, like right over here where the peak was way out of trend, and if you had entered right here, that would be a very successful short trade for you. No need to enter these smaller ones, always wait it out and be patient. Patience is what ultimately pays the bills if you're a trader. Okay guys, that about wraps up the video. I hope you found this useful. I am no professional by any means, and I'm just sharing with my community what I found interesting and useful to me. And you can be sure, if I find more strategies like this, I will share them on my YouTube channel, so subscribe if you want to see that.